If you were asked, what does justice mean to you? What would you say? Well, there might be many definitions, but one definition that stands out is the moment it is recognized, an injustice is recognized, it is stopped right there. Whether it's been latent within the system for quite some time because of a lack of knowledge, or whether it's something new that's about to begin. As soon as it is recognized, justice demands that it does not exist. So I'm thinking, ladies and gentlemen, I'm thinking about, and I'm serious. I just thought to be real. When I think about the information that we've been denied, the information that I've been denied about blackness and my history and how it happened, and recognizing just how this thing really works because we've lived it. And it's easy to say, yes, well, I'll be damned. It's easy to say that. But personally, for some strange reason, believe that a higher order is to try to determine what is it that would allow for the harmony of people in a society. And I think about what has been done to black people, especially in America. It seems that it was built on the foundation of a lie. It appears as if its existence is held up by evil. It has the reputation of being the most vicious. I mean, vicious. And because of that, it is able to say that it is the greatest power on earth. Now, you consider that, and at the same time, there are other countries that's trying to champion that, who wants to overwhelm even that. Now, one is representing an evil that's got us where we're at. That's the highest order of evil, really. The greatest nation on earth, that's the highest order of evil. It is not the greatest nation on earth because it brings peace and prosperity and freedom and joy and happiness to the world. No, it intimidates. It tries to have the biggest muscle and try to walk over for one reason or another. It seems that it is there as a challenge and something to offer to the people to reach out at, to actually pull them away from where they might be lying about they're at. It's almost like Trump came to America. Well, you know the story of Trump, but let's just go and jump ahead. He came on the scene to say that the laws that have been imposed on people who had hate within their hearts and had it all through the fabric of their being and wanted to exercise it, but because restraints had been made by the law, they had to withhold, and it was eating them up inside. And then a guy come along like chosen by, as far as I'm concerned, the biggest evil. I don't think anybody is more evil in this country than Donald Trump. But he was the biggest, so he came and put him on the top. When he started talking and stuff that everybody else, for whatever the reasons might have been, were afraid to talk or were not charismatic enough to talk, he was. It was set up. And all of the people that's been holding that hate inside of them, that hatred that allowed the natives to lose their land, that hatred that authenticated slavery, that hatred that was fine with taking stuff from other people for the benefit of themselves. That all that came out. No, come on out, and they came out, and look what they have done. But that's not all that we have to look at, ladies and gentlemen. Because the other part is this, and the truth of it is this. I don't care where Trump came from. I don't care how much hate and racism and bigotry that those who stood up for Trump, I don't care how much they had. If there were those who said, I'm not going to take it, I'll resist everything you do. If it's not righteous enough for all of us, it's not happening. I'm not giving you any allegiance. If it's not going to benefit he and she and me and you, I'm not representing it. If there were people in this country in people anywhere in the world, because that is required. That is the determining factor whether you are with God. When I say God, I'm talking about peace and prosperity and freedom. I'm talking about the things that does not cause pain and suffering to anyone. When I say the devil, I'm talking about blacks who looking out for themselves. They don't give a damn who they have to hurt to get it. That's the distinction. One, it says, I'm looking out for me. The other is saying, we are looking out for us, which makes it, to me, fantastic. Anyway, be that as it may, supposing that there might be a power above the truth as we understand it, that is out of our hands. What is in our hands is this right here. This right here. This is the determining factor where we are. And so the message is evil is running the show in America. Evil is running the show all over the globe. But it seems as if there's what a race or something going on. That word. To be the biggest power, to be the most evil thing on the people you never talk, you never looked at it like this. When people start talking about being the biggest evil, the biggest power and greatest power on the earth, what they really mean is that they have bullets, and they are the ones walking through the park, big bully. And for whatever the reasons, others just acquiesce, and bully keeps on walking. And the bully keeps on talking and demanding. And the bully keeps on doing what bullies do. You never thought about that, did you? You thought that being the greatest nation on earth was meant that your needs, yes, that your needs and wants can, if not all of them met, most of them, in comparison to other people in other places who can't even get close to yours. And you definitely don't want to be like that. And so you and your representation got to be the best, not knowing and not even caring how you got what you got. That's something else, isn't it? This is why, ladies and gentlemen, you can always find some excuses like that because this is the way people are. People have been taught to be this way. But no need to trying to set one up against the other. They're all the same things. The denying of the truth and the fact of God. How would you feel to recognize that every last one of you on earth have been given to have no problems in life? Your needs, your wants, and your desires met. I mean, if you just knew that you were not meant to suffer for anything, food, clothing, shelter, going to the moon, anything that was made by the hands of man, you had access to it because all of you collectively worked together for an outcome that satisfied your needs, your wants, and your desires. And now you're able to live in peace and be prosperous, free, happy, fulfilled, satisfied, and to live your dreams. How many of you knew that would sit up and recognize that all of that you can't do is because something else has robbed you, told you a lie, got convinced those before you lies, and before them lies, and before them lies, and we continue the process of life like this where that which was provided for every individual has also been hijacked by two powers. One, which will mess over you, and the other, with that which was for whatever the reason, allowing it to happen. It could have been something maybe like turn the other cheek. It could have been something like that. You know, when you don't know the truth, it just might be anything. So, ladies and gentlemen, how do you determine the truth? It works for everybody. If it doesn't work for everybody, there's a con in there. All right, I'm going to stop it now. I want to thank you so very much for giving me this your time. Once again, this is Eddie Marcus saying goodbye for now.